So, Bat Family, welcome to a brand new The Batman, somewhat, I guess you would say, retrospective video. Since you guys enjoyed my video last week, I believe it was, why Matt Reeves' breakdown of the Joker makes perfect sense, and if you haven't seen that already, go check it out. We essentially check out the Arkham prisoner scene of the Joker with director's commentary. So it's a bit of a, deep dive, my commentary on Matt Reeves' commentary. Today, we're doing another one, an even longer one, because this is an 8-minute video of not only Matt Reeves commentary, but Robert Pattinson commentary, Paul Dano commentary on Vengeance Meets Justice. Now, I saw this a long time ago, but I think it'd be cool to watch together, do a deep dive, a bit of bonus content here on the channel for the Bat Family. And yeah, I just hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy my insights. I would love to know yours down in the comments below on not only what Matt Reeves and Pattinson and Paul Dano say, but also maybe some other things. Do you feel like any insights that we get here we could apply to, future directions in the Batverse projects, whether that's trilogy or spin-off shows? So I'm going to stop rambling now. I can't wait to get into this. If you want to see more bonus The Batman retrospective commentary reacting content like this, let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a like if you do. Those beautiful gadgets. Wait. I need to pause it. I need to pause it already. This is going to be one of those videos. Bear with me. This is commentary, so I hope you understand. But in the beginning of that, maybe I'm showing a screenshot right now, Batman has this kind of like, I think, and it's labeled in a bunch of, and you can see it in a bunch of statues. And I think you could see the holster on filming. I'll never forget. I'm already going off into a tangent here. But people are like, Batman's got a gun. Always, this Batman kills because he has a holster. And we know the grapple hook's attached to his, gauntlet. So what is that? He does have this other gadget that he never used in the movie. I can't remember if it was like some kind of sticky explosive thing. Obviously there you can see the little bombs. One of them he actually attached to the smoke pipe in the rafters towards the end to add a bit of theatricality when taking down the Riddler goons. But we never saw him use this. So I hope, again, as usual with my ramblings, we see a little bit more of well, not a little bit more, but actually see this in the second movie, among other gadgets. And we've got all of the Riddler stuff here. I love these props. What I would do, guys, just to have one of these props from set, because I'm sure they have like multiple versions of some of them. Even one of the cards from the Riddler, I would go insane. But yeah, this is probably going to be what a lot of this video is like, pure nerd out with Boba on the Batman. The carpet tool.
There's always this argument with people who are into Batman where
Pattinson
is his real self Batman or Bruce Wayne, and I was always kind of interested in that. I think
pausing again. Yeah, there's always this argument with people about Batman. Is Batman his real self or Bruce Wayne? And that's always spoken about. Like Kevin Conroy himself even says that Bruce Wayne is the mask he puts out there to the world. Batman is who he really is deep down. You get Batman purists out there. It's always interesting because I think that the end result is really an amalgamation of it all. But you get Batman purists out there on the internet just being like, oh, no, I'm sick and tired of hearing Bruce Wayne's the mask. Batman's the real... No, Bruce Wayne is there. You're not a real Batman fan if you don't know that. You're calling Kevin Conroy not a real Batman fan? I think that's just a very simplified way to go about it. Bottom line, there's a lot more to it than that. It isn't always just as simple as Bruce Wayne is the mask, meaning there is really no Bruce Wayne to Bruce Wayne / Batman. There is. It's just, it's a lot more deeper than just stating it so simply, if that makes sense. And I can't wait to see that conversation entertained more with Matt Reeves' version and storytelling of how, yeah, Batman is a bit more of the mask in the first movie. Not the mask, sorry, the avatar, and Bruce Wayne is, I guess, the mask, especially if he's going out to the cathedral and the mayor's funeral. But as it goes on, I think Bruce will creep out just a little bit more.
I think that the Batman is psychologically and emotionally interesting. It's so much about the shadow self, which we all have.
Hell yeah.
Alter ego and identity and stuff. He believes in it so much. He believes it kind of elevates him as a creature. It is transformative to Bruce.
And yeah, and he needs to do that. I know I'm going over some basic Batman stuff, but you'd be surprised if some of you haven't seen it for yourself how much people debate this. Bruce, especially at this version of his life, like this early on in Batman Year 2, only like a year and 6 months into the Gotham project. It's literally a criminological experiment, as Matt Reeves says. He needs this to be transformed into, you know, he's compelled. That's what they go on about. And I love the way that Matt Reeves tackles that.
And I think it's actually his humanness in a world of superhumans that makes us all want to connect with him and explore him.
If the Batman's vengeance, what do you think the Riddler is?
Justice. Yeah, justice.
If
A lot of it is
if Batman's vengeance, then what is the Riddler? Justice. Yeah, that makes sense within the round, you know, within the film. Like, Batman is doing what he's doing purely, you know, I'm vengeance, very emotionally responsive, you know, asserting his somewhat justice, I guess you could say, impulsively and emotionally, whereas justice is different from vengeance in the sense that you wouldn't necessarily say it's defined by emotion like vengeance is. Justice comes from, in Riddler's perspective here, what is fair? You know, what is just? How can I exact that justice to people who have been getting away and corrupting Gotham City so much? Like the mayor, the district attorney, Pete Savage, the commissioner Falcone. So yeah, like I wouldn't say Riddler's unemotional here, but I would say the way he looks at it, mathematically almost, is through the lens of justice, and Batman is more vengeance. But of course, they do sprinkle vengeance there because, after all, you know, we have the goon at the end saying, "I'm vengeance," you know, because they're inspired by Batman, just like Riddler was.
about what's unfair, what feels fair and what's been unfair, and it's not fair that
There you
the
go.
corrupt are getting richer while we're suffering, you know. And it's justice, vengeance and justice. I
Vengeance
think.
and justice.
Yeah.
Paul Dano looks so sweet.
You're not supposed to reject the Riddler outright. The Riddler's the Riddler because of a lot of horrible things that have happened prior to that.
When I was
Yeah, and that's what I like. I'm not saying a Zodiac Killer inspired somewhat Riddler here, you should be like, oh my god, man, you're amazing, I feel so... No, but you can empathize. The best villains, even if they do the most diabolically bad things... I'm not saying that more one-note villains like, hey, I'm going to do this for the sake of doing this aren't awesome, but what I'm trying to label is I find them so compelling, like the Riddler here. As Dylan Clark, the producer, just said, you know, read Riddler Year One. We already get a lot of this insight, a lot of things that happened to Edward to make him who he is today. It's almost similar to a character study like Arthur Fleck and Joker. But check out my Riddler Year One reviews. We just went over the last and final issue that takes us up until Thursday, October 31st. You get to see what he's doing in the morning and afternoon of this day, which is so cool.
writing and thinking of this character in a way that felt like the Zodiac, that felt like a serial killer, what was important was that the Riddler is someone whose great power has to do with patterns.
The Riddler is a person who's done, who's fed up, and who I don't think can go another day letting Gotham City cycle through its corrupt roots again and again. I think he's probably blamed himself for all of the failings of his life. And I think once he discovered this corruption, he sees that maybe it wasn't all his fault. It's theirs.
Okay, then he goes off to your right.
He has a very dark agenda, but he's also kind of brilliant. And he retreated the way that Batman retreats into his mission of becoming a vigilante.
Comes back, passes,
Oh,
He
Matt Reeves
retreats
directing.
into numbers and puzzles.
goes far to your left so we can...
And, you know, that's one thing that, like, I think admittedly rubs me the wrong way. People say that this isn't the Riddler. It's like straight up Hush or whatever, and it's barely any Riddler. Like, I really disagree with that. I think, and again, I'm really trying to not come across bias here, but when you create your own iteration of a character, I think you, just because, and I don't think this is deviation, as I always say, this is innovation. Matt Reeves created a character who retreats away like Batman does, and again, the trauma thing ripples off with all of Matt Reeves's foundation for all of his characters. And Riddler, you know, with influences of real-life figures like the Zodiac Killer, who had ciphers, Riddler, you know, who's been doing puzzles all of his life, it is still very Riddlery. He does riddles. He's got the Edward vibes to him. It's just not necessarily on the nose Nigma. Do you know what I mean? He's Edward Nashton. Even though that is a bit more original, if you want to put that argument out there. I don't know. Some people say this is straight up not Riddler, but don't forget that this is a Gotham. You know, this is a Batman who's still becoming, but it's also a Gotham that's still becoming. It is a rogues gallery that is still becoming. As we went over in the Joker, breakdown video of the director's commentary, he said, Matt Reeves said, like, just like Joker and Riddler, he wanted all of these characters out there. So he technically acknowledged there's technically all of these rogues gallery characters out there who are still becoming like Batman. So you still see that with the unseen Arkham prisoner who is Joker. You still see that, even though he's a bit further along with Riddler in the first movie. So you're going to see that, just like with Oz, but also in the second movie with whatever villain we get there. So yeah, I think he is very much so Riddler. It's just like, I guess, even though we might never see this, year 12 of Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, since the city already know his face, that's when he might be out there a bit more confident with a suit. I'm not saying he's going to have a cane, but maybe he might not mask his face. Do you know what I mean? But this is Riddler day one, year one, so to speak. So,
because it's the one place where he can find control.
Great.
Just like Batman. Being Batman gives him that control. As Bruce Wayne, he's like...
That made me think of Paul.
Something about that made me think of Paul. I think you probably watched Prisoners, Matt Reeves. If I was willing to bet like a little bit of money, I'd be like, was it Prisoners, Matt, that maybe made you think, oh, he'd be good for the Riddler? It must have been. Amazing movie. If you haven't seen Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman, Paul Dano, what are you doing with your life?
One of the first things that we talked about was like the two sides of trauma.
Yeah, boy.
And that really spoke to me.
The first conversation I had with Matt about it, I just knew he just had an angle on something. There was something about doing it as a noir. I mean, even though Batman is always kind of a noir, but like it's never just fully committing to that world.
The hell is this?
Yeah, I would say that's true. And I'm not saying everyone dislikes that. And I'm not saying this is the only reason some people find the movie potentially not as digestible as other movies that they like, because I know a lot of us here love the movie, but there's a lot of people out there like couldn't watch past the first 20 minutes, so long, so slow, so boring. I obviously personally very much so disagree, but you know, different strokes for different folks, different takes. There's clearly a different formula to that of this movie than your typical, hey, here's Ant-Man and the Wasp, here's Iron Man 2, here's, do you know what I mean? Same with Joker with Todd Phillips. So the reason why I bring that up with the noir comment is that this movie is, obviously it's not literally a noir movie or scene, you know, kind of thing, but it applies that tone, that skin, and that thus then impacts the tone of the movie, the pacing of the movie, and it heavily leans into the detective Batman. And I think that's what Robert Pattinson was talking about there. He kind of retracted. It's like, it's not like Batman hasn't been noir, but it's just like this really leans into that. And that is what we love. That is why Batman, or should I say Matt Reeves, labels this on Twitter as the Batman, full stop, crime, full stop, saga. It's a crime, noir, heavy detective Batman. Maybe a bit too slow-paced for some people. But for me, my God, it satiates a Batman desire that I never... Well, I kind of always wanted, but never quite realized how good it could have really have been brought to fruition like this, and Matt Reeves just went ahead and did that.
Good cop, bad shit cop. Who's the Riddler? Riddler! How should I know?
Having
I love those little perspectives of the scenes, you know, just from another camera in the background.
Emotional backstory be the driving force for that character felt, you know, good to me. The root of it is in the child, and what does it mean to be an orphan? You have a kid named Bruce Wayne who loses his parents, but ends up trying to do something good with that pain.
Yep.
And then...
That is really messed up. I know we don't see a lot of the Wayne Manor there, and there's still some people, by the way, who don't realize that Gotham Orphanage was Wayne Manor. Some people ask me in my discussion series videos that, hey, do you think we're going to see Wayne Manor? It's like, we already did, you know? I don't know if it's going to get renovated, but as I've already said with that, without rambling about this too much, it would kind of be low-key awkward for Bruce Wayne to bring it back to Wayne Manor when it had already gotten donated as an orphanage. Do you know what I mean by optics there? If you're going to, like, you know, renovate it again and restore it, you'd think that Bruce Wayne would open it again as an orphanage instead of being like, screw the orphans, I know my parents donated it to the orphanage, but I'm taking it back as Wayne Manor. I think we're going to be in that kind of gothic penthouse for the next two movies. I could be wrong.
You have the trauma of somebody who's lost his parents in a different way and who takes that pain and probably thinks he's doing something good, but it is maybe misguided or
Gil,
misdirected.
behind you! He's behind you! Wow. Again, I love the perspectives of the filming here.
Normally, Batman seems to hold all the strings. The plan is entirely his, but really in this, he's still trying to figure out exactly what Batman is. And
exactly.
The Riddler seems to know.
I love that. That's what's so good about this movie, and why I'm so excited for the psychological roadmap and development of this character over the next two movies, because I know we've seen Batman early on before, but like truly in this movie, as Pattinson just said, he normally has everything planned out, but in this movie, he's still really trying to figure out what Batman is, this criminological experiment, and now there's this guy, and it's like, oh my god, I'm kind of a bit out of my depth here.
No secrets about Batman and Bruce that even Bruce didn't know. It's a very reactive
That's a meme template.
I don't think we usually get.
Yep. Very reactive version of Batman that I don't think we usually get. And in the second movie, if this Batman was reactive, and what I would translate that to is the whole vengeance thing, impulsive, what will that second movie's word be? So you go from reactive to more controlled. Oh god, I hope this music isn't copyrighted.
Just forgot about us.
They did.
All they could talk about was poor Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce
I love
Wayne, the orphan.
So epic.
Orphan.
I love this. Like, I love the camera that isn't the actual camera recording the movie. Do you know what I mean? The way Paul Dano delivers this, impeccable. And there's something with this music in the background as well that kind of really, emphasizes the tragedy of what Riddler experiences, the pain that he feels, the optics of, yes, we know Bruce has been through it, but like in his eyes, Bruce Wayne, the orphan.
I think seeing the Batman was probably one of those transcendent moments in his life, an aha moment where you project something onto that figure out there and you see some hidden piece of yourself or something that you want to be. Without the Batman, you would never have the Riddler.
We got that comic strip of seeing that first happen where he's like so inspired. Love that perspective. Look at it. Look at him, he's finally seen it.
What I wanted to do was have the Riddler lead us on a path where there are lots of possibilities when they meet at Arkham. I mean, that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and I love the way that Paul and Rob played that scene.
I told you I'd see you in hell. The Riddler doesn't just need Batman as inspiration. He needs him in a practical way too, because he does know his limitations. The Batman's style of combat is pretty fierce. That's not in Edward's wheelhouse.
My strength is up here. I mean, I had all the pieces, I had the answers, but I didn't know how to make them listen. You gave me that. I gave you nothing. You showed me what was possible.
That's an alternate scene. Like right there, that was an alternate scene. Let's watch that again. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty damn sure it wasn't delivered that way. Basically the same, but like slightly different. So that's really cool.
Edward's wheelhouse.
My strength is up here. I mean, I had all the pieces, I had the answers, but I didn't know how to make them listen. You gave me that. I gave you nothing. You showed me what was
I gave you nothing. I love Pattinson's Batman voice.
Possible.
I think it's more similar than Bruce would like to really admit. I think that's why it's extremely troubling for him by the end of it, because the only difference in a lot of ways is that the Riddler follows through and his justice is fatal.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, it's right. It's true, right? And it's kind of a thing. This is another debate. Like, the Riddler follows through, and Batman kind of low-key, as per the unseen Arkham scene, low-key kind of thinks like, well, they kind of deserve to die, but like, I don't really think that's the kind of vibe. But Bruce never really goes there, and the psychology and lens behind that in this movie, with how as Pattinson just said, it's like we actually are similar, and that's what made him so uncomfortable with Joker saying, you two have so much in common. And it's just, he really doesn't want to hear it, but the more he hears it, the more he knows, like, Joker or whoever's pointing this out is really right. But, like, he tries to put himself on, like, the pedestal of, no, I'm Batman, I'm better, but, like, holy shit, I mean, I technically am, but, like, my God, I'm actually way so... I love that. It's so similar, but not really, but kind of. If you get what I'm saying. I think it's great, and I just can't wait thematically what Matt Reeves could play with in the second and third movie. Like, really, think about it. Imagine the depth that we could get into here with other villains.
Him as Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. I think the connection is not just in the vigilante element or the political element. I think it's emotional.
It's almost a love story in the course of...
It's almost a love story. But I love Matt Reeves' explanation here of truly the perspective that Edward Nashton had of meeting the Batman. All of this, he thought that him and Batman were going to be safe together in the Ark and then go out into a new world.
A love story. In the course of that scene, it ends up being a terrible rejection for the Riddler because he's certain that he'll be embraced because they're both vigilantes. They're both righteous. They're both trying to go after the criminal element. And the Riddler is doing that, but he's doing it in the most twisted way. And he obviously has crossed a line that Batman wants to think he would never cross and is doing everything he can not to.
I like the wording there. Wants to think he would never cross and is doing everything he can not to. Quite literally. Yes. Very close sometimes. I wonder if we're going to see that in the trilogy. Do you think so? Because some people were speculating about that in this first movie. And that, I mean, I guess you could say he almost killed at the end if Gordon didn't stop him punching when he was on adrenaline. No, it's not Venom. Would it feel like a regression if he almost killed in the second or third movie? I guess it depends on the circumstance and why he would almost be doing that. That's actually something very interesting to consider.
You showed me all it takes is fear and a little focused violence. You inspired me.
And that seems like another alternate take. Combat. Hell yeah. Go, go, go.
The Riddler calls that out in him. There's a lot of signs that Bruce wants to kill people. He even fears that in himself.
Yeah.
But he wants to end up punishing the Riddler because it's, you know, he's being a mirror to Bruce's secrets.
You're out of your goddamn mind.
What?
When
Look how upset he is.
Doesn't reciprocate as planned. It's heartbreaking. It's betrayal. I think he thought he had a friend.
No amount of pain and damage you inflict on people who have wronged you or wronged someone else, it's not gonna fix the situation, basically.
Yeah, and that's where you go from vengeance to something more, like hope. Even though, like, it's funny, I think maybe some people read into that way too literally, as if, like, Batman's not gonna, like, beat the living crap out of people in the second film. He will, but, like, the whole pure lens of vengeance won't necessarily... It'll kind of go more to, like, yeah, I'm here, Gotham. Like, I'm still gonna kind of, you know, beat some people up, but, like, I'm here. But beforehand, he was just, like, so, like, rage ready to be... Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, again, can't wait to see that develop, and I'm just so excited for the ways that could blossom, because I think we can obviously assume certain things. It's like, okay, Matt Reeves is going to go from this to this, and he's going to bring that out. But it's like, to truly imagine how he's going to bring that out in a way that will be accurate, yet still subverts our expectations in a way that won't alienate us, but yet will give us a new, innovative fascination with this depiction that's coming our way. Man, this is why I'm obsessed.
That's basically the arc of Batman in this.
The thing that is so great about Batman, historically, culturally, and in this film, it's that space in between, which is where we really all live. That's so potent and powerful and true.
I love Paul Dano's.
It is about having heroes and having villains. And exploring
Arkham. Look at that little cool other perspective of Arkham. What I would give, like, this camera was recording when Barry Keoghan was on set. What I would give, just like, hey, we're gonna film what he looks like. I feel sorry for that security guard. I mean, the conversations he must hear He probably should note them down, but he probably is just like, you know, they always say they're going to break out. You know, Gotham loves a comeback story. Nice one. Unseen Arkham prisoner who doesn't call himself Joker yet. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, as if you're going to escape, but they will.
Space in between.
And there we have it. So I know that was quite a bit of a ramble, guys, but again, so much of you gave such positive feedback on just doing, you know, these kind of commentary videos on some of the behind the scenes of the Batman world. It's stuff we kind of know, but to kind of lean into it in this behind the scenes way, especially with the insight of the creativity, the lifeblood that fuels this take and iteration on Batman. I love the opportunity to react and respond to what, you know, Pattinson, Dano, and Reeves were saying there, and just kind of somewhat extrapolate that into a larger speculation as we do on the channel, and what that could mean going from here on out. And also, if you enjoyed this video, let me know if you want to see more behind the scenes bonus the Batman Batverse content like this. I know this wasn't so much of a director's commentary video, it's more like a behind the scenes actors / director's commentary. Hearing it from like the horse's mouth, Matt Reeves, especially with the director's commentary track of the whole movie. We've only done one scene from the director's commentary of the whole movie. There's probably a few scenes that I want to hear his literal breakdown of, because after all, director's commentary is when they sit there the whole movie and talk about what they were thinking when they were creating that moment. And there's a couple more I would love to tackle. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, would deeply, deeply appreciate you liking it, maybe sharing it. Of course, if you're brand new to the channel, why not subscribe for more Batverse and comic book content like this? But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, Bat family, in the next video. Goodbye.